is going to be really hard. I can't believe I dealt with all of this. He tried to kick us out. It just wasn't healthy anymore. Today's the day, guys. The day you guys have all been waiting for, that I have put off for quite a long time now. I have told you guys multiple times that the video was going to come soon and it was going to come out sooner. So I basically want to start off first with kind of explaining why I hadn't filmed this video until now. There's a lot of reasons. Just overall, it was bad timing. So whenever I would like kind of get the courage to film this video, a lot of stuff would go down. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm kind of just at that phase where I'm ready to talk about it. I am still super nervous to talk about all of this, just for the reason of a lot of drama starting, which I don't need to have started up in my life. My life is very, very great right now and very, very happy and positive. I don't need a bunch of like negativity in my life, especially with everything that's going on. So I do want to put this out there right now before I start this video. I am no way, shape, or form bashing on anybody, talking bad about anybody. I do not want people to go after anybody because of this video. I am strictly filming this video because I have kind of left you guys in a very big hole of what basically did happen. I have talked about it a little bit on and off, but I haven't gotten into like big detail on everything. So I want to put that out there right now, that I do not want to see any hate comments on either of us, because it is over with, it is done with. It happened a long time ago now, that it feels like, and we just don't need other people getting involved with it, regardless of if I'm putting it out there on the internet. If somebody puts something out there on the internet to talk about, to inform people who have been wondering about things like this, does not mean that you have the rights to get involved and to put your opinions out there on everything or to hate on somebody. That's not how life works, basically, I guess you could say. So please keep your opinions to yourself. Do not go rambling on to another person or trying to start anything. I hope you guys understand. So let's try to jump into this video. I don't actually know how long this video is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be quite a very long video. So grab a snack, buckle up, because this is going to be a very big roller coaster. It's also like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm still trying to get Grayson to sleep. He's sleeping, but he's not in like a deep sleep, which is hensing why I'm filming right now, because I can't go to bed because I can't put him in his pack and play. So I have everything basically written down. I'm going to try to stay in timeline, but honestly, I doubt that it's going to just stay on timeline. I'm sure I'm going to be jumping back and forth from different times in the timeline, so bear with me. Hopefully this video will make complete sense and you guys will be able to get like the whole story. Fingers crossed. I also do want to add that I have filmed this video about 5 times now. This is probably my sixth time filming this video, and all the other attempts have been deleted because they've just been too out of control. So let's hope and pray this one goes great. So if you haven't figured it out now, this is going to be the story time of basically what happened between me and Alan. So if you guys have been wondering and have had questions, this video is basically going to explain pretty much everything, and hopefully it will answer a lot of your guys' questions on what happened and why we ended up breaking up. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, back before we were even dating. So me and Alan never spoke a word to each other before. I had seen him once or twice in school. I had heard about him from my friend who I was friends with previously, and she was dating him at the time. I kind of had a crush on him then, but I never said anything, obviously, because he was dating her. I wasn't going to interfere with their relationship. I'm not that type of person. So about a year or two later, I had saw that our friendiversary on Facebook. If you guys don't know what that is, if you don't have Facebook, basically when you've been friends with somebody, I think for over a year, there's a thing called a friendiversary, and it'll pop up on your memories, and you can basically just post and it'll share like memories and stuff like that between you two. So that popped up, and I had messaged him that day. Keep in mind, still never spoke a word to him, nothing. And I texted him, and he had texted me back. He was at work that day, so he was just basically texting me on his breaks and stuff. And I had still had a crush on him at that point, and we were basically just talking. He worked at Brim Hollow, whichever. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It was Burn something, so go me for remembering. Me and him literally talked all the time. So what I mean by that is if we were awake, we were talking. At this point of my life, I was up super duper late. I was still that was my knuckle. I was up doing school, and I would be doing schooling while talking to him. So priority straight. Good student right here, talking to boys while I'm doing school. So about a day and a half goes by, and we're just kind of like talking about relationships and stuff, and I found out that he liked me, and he found out I liked him. And basically, from there on out, we just kind of started to date. It wasn't just like something like either one of us asked each other out. It was just kind of something that happened, if that kind of makes sense. It wasn't just like the normal, hey, will you go out with me kind of thing. It's hard to explain. So from there, me and him never hung out for the first whole month of our relationship. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, because usually when you're in a relationship, you hang out with the other person. But basically, in that first month of us dating, we were in kind of like the getting to know each other phase, because we never spoke a word to each other beforehand. I did get to know him a lot, and it honestly felt like I had known him forever at that point. I had just gone through a very rough time in my life, and he had made my life a lot better and was actually making me happy for once. My depression started to go away, and I was feeling a lot better because I actually had felt like I had somebody who was actually there for me and cared about me. So during that first month of our relationship, we did get into an argument fight, if that makes sense, a fight/argument. And I had told him right then and there, I go, I'm going to tell you what, this is how things are going to stand, and if you aren't going to respect me and all of that. I told him I had just been through hell and shit for the last year and a half. I don't need to be put through that all over again. I've dealt with enough. I told him he needs to either change his ways or I'm gone and he's losing me. So he did change, and I was honestly very surprised that he did, because I never had that before. Nobody's actually changed just for me. So after that, things did get better. It was just kind of like a small bump in the road, which I know sounds, again, crazy considering we had only been dating for a month and we already got into a fight. It was over something super, super dumb. I don't even remember what it was over. I couldn't tell you what it was over, but yeah. After that, around our 2 months, when we were starting to date for 2 months, he did start coming over, and I did get so nervous to see him and everything. It was summertime, but basically after that first time that we met, we started hanging out a lot more, and he would be here in the afternoon and we would just lay on the back porch and it would turn into nighttime and we would we would look at the stars. Like, everything was so awesome at this point. Like, it was so different from any other relationship that I had had. It was just nice. And this, I want to say, this is the Alan that I had fell in love with. I'm going to say that right here, right now. So a little bit later, I had gotten this room. If you guys didn't know, I was sharing a room with my mom for a little bit, and I finally got this room. Gotta love the paints in the back. Thanks, Walmart paint. After that, we did start hanging out in my room more because it was starting to get colder out. So yeah. So into our 3-month, it was November and I was turning 17, November 10th. And shortly after I turned 17, I found out that I was pregnant with Grayson. I walked to a dollar store near my house and bought a pregnancy test. I just kind of had a really bad feeling, and not really bad feeling, just that feeling that I was pregnant. And as I was walking there, I just knew at that point. I was very much out of breath the whole walk. I had to actually stop. I had to go buy water because of how exhausted I was. And that has never happened to me before. Usually I can go on super long walks and be completely fine. I just felt like I was out of shape and like I hadn't exercised in like 4 years, which is not how I roll. So I did take a pregnancy test and I did find out I was pregnant with Grayson. Well, that changed a lot of stuff. So I'm going to fast forward to my first doctor's appointment. So I had scheduled my first doctor's appointment. I'm pretty sure I was about 9 to 10 weeks at this point when I went to my first doctor's appointment. So Alan never went with me to my first doctor's appointment. I was super, super nervous for my first doctor's appointment. I'd never gone to anything like this before. I didn't know what to expect, and it was just super duper, like, my anxiety was super high at this point, and I had just really wanted him there to support me, and he wasn't. I tried everything to figure out why he wasn't up and ready to go. I called him, I called his house, I did so much stuff trying to get him up, and he just didn't get up. Now, it wasn't too big of a deal after the appointment was over with, and it was nothing. I literally just answered some questions and had blood drawn, and I just went home. So, it wasn't that big of a deal, but I do still wish that he was there because, again, I was super duper nervous. This is my first time going to the doctors for something like this. I just would have liked to have his support. So after that, he did go to every other doctor's appointment with me, which was nice. So as my pregnancy went on, things did start to change a lot. And at the time, how I was thinking was, well, I'm just hormonal. It's not as bad as it actually feels like because I'm pregnant. I'm just thinking in my head, it's not that bad. It's just my hormones. I'm over emotional and things are going to get way, way better after I have Grayson and my hormones are back into check. So what I mean by things changed as my pregnancy went on, Alan did not stay the guy that I fell in love with. He started to change very, very much throughout the months of my pregnancy. It's just really hard to explain how he was. Before I got pregnant, he would be the sweetest guy ever. He would do so much for me, and just overall, he was really good. And then as my pregnancy went on, he kind of turned into a different type of person who wasn't so sweet anymore. Yeah. So as my pregnancy went on, a lot of fights and arguments started to happen. And I want you guys to keep in mind, for the first 4 to 5 months of our first 4 to 5 our first 4 to 5 months of dating, we never fought except for that one time. And now it was constant arguing, constant fighting. And again, in my head, I was thinking, it's just my hormones. I'm just over emotional. It's not as bad as it seems. It was as bad as what I should have seen. And I wish that it clicked sooner, but it didn't. Fights were so bad that I would be having anxiety attacks all the time when arguments would happen. A lot of things happened during those fights that I don't really want to talk about. I was never hit. I want to put that out there. I was never harmed or anything, so please don't think that none of that happened, because definitely if that had happened, he would have been out of my house in 5.2 seconds. I do want to put that out there, that no one was ever hit during these arguments and fights. There were times where our arguments would get so bad that he would try to leave my house and just walk out, and I would sit in front of my door to try to get him to stay and just try to calm down and to talk things through, which made things worse. But, you know, it's me. So things went on and off from being great, good, and terrible. So I'm going to now fast forward to having Grayson. So I went into the hospital. My water broke. If you guys didn't see my labor and delivery story time, you definitely should. I think there's 2 of them up because I refilmed it and filmed it a little bit better for you guys, because I was so eager to film it the first time. I was kind of all over the place. So yeah. So in the hospital, he was very impatient during my labor process. He wasn't necessarily super duper helpful either. I just had a whole different image for my birth and labor process, and that was not how I had planned for it to be. I definitely wish my labor had gone so much better than what it had, because I feel like if it had gone as planned as I had in my head, I probably would have gone through labor a lot less stressed and stuff. It's just hard to explain again, but I was 9 times out of 10 on my own throughout labor. I felt like I actually didn't have him there a lot of the time, because he basically slept through my labor a lot of the time. So I was sitting here all in pain having his baby, and he's just sleeping away. So after I did have Grayson, he was super duper happy that he was finally here. All those emotions were out in the open. Just a lot of stuff went down. I do want to say that he was awake for some parts of my labor. He was awake when I was pushing and everything like that, my epidural and all of that. If you guys want to see a picture, I'll insert now what my back looked like with my epidural. So when we moved over to the maternity section of the hospital, so if you guys don't know, with my hospital there is a labor and delivery area, and then there's a maternity area where you stay after you have your baby, and you have a couple of days to heal, and they check up on you and they make sure that you're getting the hang of being a mom. It's not like you just deliver and go home and they're just like, oh yeah, you're fine, just go, get out of here. No, it's not how it goes, especially if you have a C-section. You're there for a lot longer than us who have natural births. While we were in the maternity section, let me just tell you guys, I felt like a single parent right then and there. Alan barely helped with Grayson. I would take 2 showers a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, just because it helped me relax, and that was my few minutes of time. I never slept. I never got any sleep, because every time that I would go to fall asleep, Alan would wake up and he would want me to stay awake with him, and even if I told him no, like, how I thought of it was I was done. I didn't want arguments to start or anything like that, so instead of arguing, I'll stay awake. Wish I didn't. I was super exhausted. There were times where I would go in to take a nice long shower and I would be so nervous to have Grayson out there in his little bassinet, and I was scared that he was gonna cry or something while I was in there. Keep in mind, I would tap Alan and try to wake him up and tell him, oh hey, can you watch Grayson while I go take a shower? And he would say yes. He would just fall right back asleep, so I was always super duper nervous because I'm a new mom. I don't want anything to happen to my little baby that I just had because nobody's watching him closely. While I was doing paperwork and stuff to get discharged, he started up acting his old self. There were times where I would almost have breakdowns because I was so overtired. I just wanted him to help me pack up. I just wanted his help with something, and I just felt like I was so overwhelmed and I didn't have that luxury to have any help, but there was nothing I could do. There were times where he would walk out of the building and go downstairs and I'd just be stuck up there. There were nights where I would cry at the hospital while Grayson and him were sleeping because I felt like I was all alone and had nobody. It was just really, really hard to have that happen, I guess you could say, because he was so excited and already he's just, bye. Going home, we went to my place and then he left after we got all settled in and he helped me bring everything in, which was nice that he helped me carry stuff in, I guess. After that, he did come over a lot, and then him and my grandmother actually got into an argument, and after that, he barely came over. So that sucked. So he would come over for like 5 minutes if he came over, or 10 minutes. That would be it. The rest of the time, he wouldn't like stay like he used to. And he hadn't stayed like that up until the rest of the time we dated. I did start going to his place. He was living with some people. I don't really know anything about them, but he had his own room and everything, so I didn't think much of it. I would be up at 4 in the morning to get him up for the job that he had at this time, working with my father, which he didn't keep that job for very long. A lot of stuff happened with that job. He barely helped pay for anything for Grayson at that point either. A lot of stuff also happened at the house that we were staying at that I'm not going to talk about, just for a lot of reasons. I don't want to put it out there for that point either. So, yeah, but now I'm going to get into the part of what actually broke me to the point where I left him. So things started to get way worse when I was staying with him. There were nights where we would get into really bad arguments and I would just sit on the bed holding Grayson tightly, telling him to get away from me. Like, I was to the point where I didn't want him anywhere near me or to touch our child. There was a night that I was staying and we got into a really bad argument and he had told me to get out and he was basically telling me to get out of his house and was kicking me out. So I got up, started packing my stuff, and he told me to stop what I was doing and like basically telling me, oh no, you're not leaving and all that kind of stuff. And there was one point where he had told me that he regretted being with me, and that was it. That broke me. Keep in mind also that I also had Joey on speed dial to come get me if he actually did kick me out of the place, because obviously me and Joey were friends at this point, and Joey wasn't about to make me and Grayson walk all the way home. He's way better than that. So Joey was ready to come get us if I absolutely needed to, which at this point, thinking back, I really wish I had just had him come get me and we could have gone back to his place and I could have stayed there for the night, because honestly, probably would have been in a better situation than what I was that night. So a couple of weeks went by after that huge argument with me and Alan, and basically I tried to heal from that and I just couldn't. And I had basically just texted Alan asking him if he actually thought things were getting better, and I just kind of told him that it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse, and I didn't want to do it anymore. There was a long period of time where he was just trying to get me back in his life, and I kept telling him, I just need time. I need time to myself. I need time. I need time to figure out my life and to get my life together, so I know my life will be together even if I'm not with you. Like, he just didn't understand that. For about 2 months, Alan went ghost. I think it was a month to 2 months that he went ghost. Nobody heard from him. I never heard from him. He came back online. Had a new girlfriend, had a new life. Okay. Didn't really bother me because I had Joey in my life. Me and Joey aren't dating, for anybody asking. No. But my life was going a lot better. I was a lot happier. My anxiety went down and stuff. It was just a lot better. I did take Alan to court, and I have sole custody of Grayson, so that means Alan just can't take Grayson without my permission or take him somewhere without my permission. He does have visitation. He has to have it supervised by either his sister, his mom, or me. He also has to pay child support because this child is not just mine. I should not be the only one paying for him. So now, as of right now, Alan has not seen Grayson in over 3 months. The last time he saw him was when I went up to his mom's house for Christmas, and after that, nope. He has me blocked on Facebook currently. He has family members blocked. He won't talk to me. He's in his own little world. And it sucks because he's not a part of Grayson's life, and he's gonna regret it. So as of right now, I am taking him back to court, getting ready for a lot of different reasons. I will explain all of that in a different video because I don't want to talk about it now in case it interferes with court, if that makes sense. But as of right now, me and Grayson are living a very happy life together, and we're super happy, and everything's so much better now. But anyways, I was going to cut this clip into two. My phone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm sorry my phone freaked out at the end. It ran out of space, but I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye, also, guys. Please remember, do not go after either of us, and keep your opinions and stuff on this whole situation to yourself. It is over and done with. I have handled it, and we don't need y'all getting involved with it. So, thank you for understanding, and I love you guys.